live for today with intention for a better tomorrow. So when I say that, is it's important to always be present, like in your present, because there is no other time than the time that you have right now. Like there, you can't go into the past, and you can't go into the future. So it's very, very important that you're present in every moment that you have. So with that, you can still think about the future, and you'll have intentions for your future, but your attention needs to be in the present. And to do that, and I guess when you have intentions for the future, that would be the first thing, and that's to make plans and goals for your future. And these can be professional, personal, any different types of goals for your future. But what's important is that it's a goal that you set and it means something to you. It could be anything. It could be a small goal, a big goal, but the most important thing is that it's something that you feel, that you can put feelings with, that you have a true desire, something that it's going to be easy to remember that that's what your goal is. And when you set those types of goals, it's going to be important that you have feeling with it and that you can remember, because it's very important that that the more that each day you're able to remember and remind yourself what you're working towards, and then that's going to help really keep you going down that road to achieve those things that you want. So reminding yourself every day about the goal, but living in the moment, in every moment, and really doing the best that you can. And it's the best that it's knowing that you're doing the best that you can, regardless of anything on the outside of you. Because a lot of the times there will be external forces that you may want to compare yourself to, when there's no reason for that. Like every person in this world is different. It's similar to snowflakes. Not any two snowflakes are the same. Well, there's no two people the same. Everybody's different. Everybody's has their pros, and everybody has their cons. So to say that you want to compare yourself to somebody would be, it can never really be an apples to apples. It would always be an apples to orange comparison, and that's just not fair to yourself. And it does nothing, but it's just going to cause destruction within yourself and bring the negativity. And that's one of the things that you really need to get out, is any cause of the negativity, especially that you're bringing upon yourself, because there's enough negativity in the world as there is, that especially if you spend a lot of time watching the news, or a lot of time reading social media, like you don't have to go very far to find negativity. And if you're the type that you'll read something and then you will emotionalize it, that's even worse, because what you're doing is you're taking somebody else's problems, and the moment that you emotionalize and you internalize those, what you're doing is you're passing those on to your subconscious mind, and you're going to, the more that you do that, the more that you're feeding yourself that negativity, and the more that you're going to hold yourself in like a negative vibe. And whatever type of vibe you're giving off, which is really just an energy, that's what's coming back to you. You're either negative or you're positive type person, and whatever it is that you are most of the time, that's what you're going to continue to be, because that's just the way that it works. That's what you're putting out, and that's what you're going to attract to yourself. So when you make the decision that, the first thing is to realize and be truthful with yourself that, hey, I tend to think negative. Like I tend to look at the negative side. My glass is always half empty. It's never half full. That's the first thing, is to really realize that that's what you're doing, because that's a big step. Because without that, you're never gonna admit that or think that there's anything wrong. And it's not. I'm not saying that there is. And this is just if you want to become more and get out of the things that you're in. You really have to take a step back and look that, hey, all this negativity that I'm allowing to enter into my being is not good. So like I said, the external distractions are, it's tough to limit those because we have to live our lives, right? Like you have to, you just live your life and there's negative everywhere. But you do have the choice to not allow, what somebody says or, things like that enter into you and become an emotionalized feeling. That's up to you. Nobody can control your mind and make you think what they want you to think. Now, they can manipulate, but through that, you still have to be the one that allows those things into your mind. You control your thoughts. You control what you believe, and you really do. Whether maybe that's something that hasn't really, you never really thought of. You never took a step back to look at it, but it is true. It's your mind. It's your thoughts, and the more that you take in the negative, the more negative. But on the flip side, the more that you're able to find the positive and internalize the positive and kind of shut out the negative, you're going to find pretty quickly that your life is going to start to change, and it's going to be for the positive. And this is one of those things, and I can speak from experience, that the more positive that you become, the more positive it's going to come to you. And then just by natural laws, like everybody around you is going to become more positive. That's just the way that this works, is because this positivity is contagious. You start to do things and you start to feel better and you start to be better. I mean, that's what everybody wants in life, whether they realize it or not. They want to grow and to become better. And if you are able to be that first person that can start to bring that change, that's huge, because everyone around you is going to feel that. It's a really, really powerful thing. And again, it's not an easy thing, because I go back to just, our daily lives and all the things that are done and said, but and then back to the comparison to the external, that's the one thing that you do control. And it can be hard, because you have to realize that through our lives, as we grow up, if we are repeatedly told something like, you'll never make it, or you're not smart, or all these negative things that that we could have been told growing up, if you hear those enough, you're just going to start to believe it. That's auto-suggestion. And that's just the way our minds work. If you're told something repeatedly, you're going to end up believing it. That's just the way that it goes. So it works definitely for negative, and I think that once you're able to look inside yourself and find the things that, just think about the things and how you see yourself, and think about the things that are not working for you, that do not help you, the things that hold you back, and then try to think, well, why do I think of that about myself? Is it something that you really think about yourself? Or are you able to think back to maybe a time where people were saying things, or something happened to make you think that of yourself? And I think when you start to examine that, you're going to realize that that doesn't have to be your truth. It really doesn't. You get to decide what your truth about yourself is. You get to decide what you think about yourself. Nobody, maybe before they were able to put these things inside, but once you start to realize that you don't have to accept that, that's power, because you're able to start, weeding out those dirty weeds that are not helping you, and they're just holding you back. And then when you pull out those weeds that aren't helping you, you plant a nice flower there about something about yourself. And it's a can-do, a good, positive, something that you're going to plant. And then through time, as pulling out these old weeds, you're going to become a different person. And it's all from the internal. Like, if you want to change the things outside of you, in your physical environment, you don't want to, you're not going to change it by messing with the physical, like, stuff, like the people around you. You can remove people, change things, but none of that's going to change the cause of the things that you're bringing to yourself, because that's all on the inside. So you really need to look on the inside and work from the inside. And then once you address the inside, the outside is just going to follow course, because everything on the outside, it starts first on your inside, and you're getting everything that you think and you feel. That's exactly what your present environment is. Like, if you don't like it, then take a look at inside yourself, change the things inside yourself that you don't like on your physical, and then you're going to find that the physical world is just going to follow right along, because that's just the way that it works. It has to. So it's important, again, back to intention for a better tomorrow. Have the goals, hold the goals, and remind yourself that that's what you're doing. But it's not a constant, like an all day thinking about your goals. It's just make time, once a day where you're really gonna think, either in the morning or in the evening, where you just want to sit there and you want to think about the goal, but think about the goal being completed. You want to think from the end. Think about how is it going to feel when you complete that goal, or you have that thing, or whatever it is that you're thinking. Really play with it in your mind. Like, the more that you're able to apply feeling to your thoughts, especially when it comes to goals, it's going to become real. And then your subconscious, so your mind doesn't know. Like, if you close your eyes and you think of something, like, your mind and your insides doesn't know that it's real or not. Your mind it takes the thoughts and the things that we see, and it just creates. It's going to continue to create. So if you're able to close your eyes, feel and sense the things of your goals, then that's just going to speed this process up of getting what you want. But coming back, it's important to always live for today and always live in the moment. You don't want to dwell on the past, because that's generally just is going to breed negativity, and you don't want to be anxious for the future. You'll deal with the future when the future gets here. The past is done. The best thing that you can do with the past is accept it. Like, you just have to accept, hey, it is what it is. You find the good out of it. It's back to the law of opposites that I've talked about before. If there's a good, there's a bad. So within everything in your past, there has to be some good that you can take from the separate events. So you accept it, you find the good, you take the good out of it, and then you internalize the good, and then you just let the rest go. Like, that's the only thing that you can do, because there is nothing else that you can do in the past, because you can't go in the past and change it. So what's the point of trying to change it in your mind, when really all you're doing is you're just, whatever that was in the past, the more that you think about it, that's what you're going to get more of. Because whatever you put your attention and your thoughts to is what you're getting. So to think about that, you're just getting more of that. But if you're able to just accept it, find the good, let it go. And then for the future, you can't do anything in the future. The only thing that you can do for your future is act today, is act right now. And that's acting in a good way, in a positive, bring the positive. Have the goals and have your intentions for a better future. But in order to get that, you just have to really believe that you need to live for now in the best way that you can, with as much positivity as you can have. And then another aspect of this that it's worked wonders for me is to be grateful. Like, that's one of those things that I haven't, I just took a lot of stuff for granted, and I just felt, in my past, that I was just kind of entitled to the things that I've gotten, and always assuming and looking for the next thing. But when you do that, you never really appreciate anything, and you never become happy. Like, you have nice things, but you're never happy. But yet, years ago, where what I was looking forward to, I'm at, but I don't feel any better now than I did before. And that's because I was chasing something that it's not real. The real happiness doesn't come from the things that we can have. It comes from the inside. And that's where you start to show you be grateful for what you have. Because through time, the more grateful that you are, the more that you're going to open your eyes up and see that all of the great things that you do have in your life, regardless of what your life is like, there's always going to be things that you can find to be grateful for. And then it goes back to the, what you put out, you get back. As you start to feel grateful, that is a 100% positive feeling. So when you start to put yourself and feel grateful for the things that you have, you're putting off in incredible amounts of positive energy. So that's something that if you can practice daily, that's a very strong way to start just flooding out with positive energy. Just sit there and just really be grateful, but really feel that gratitude for the things. It can't just be just a fleeting thought, I guess. Really sit down and write it out if you need to, because I find that writing things out really helps you internalize and really you know, it really makes you think because you're writing it out and you're going to reread it. And then the more that you do that, live in the moment with your intentions for the future, you're going to find that you're going to get all those things plus way more than you ever thought that you would be capable of getting. So I want to thank you for checking out the video. I hope there was something that I said that was able to kind of make your day better, or maybe an aha moment. That's really what I hope is to be able to help people along the journey of really figuring out what you can do in life, because we're all meant for such great things. And it's really just it's not easy. It's a simple idea though, just to start to look more on the inside and really, you know, it's not rocket science. It's tough though. It's tough when you're battling yourself within your mind. But again, thanks.